First thing I want to start today's video with is just welcome to so many of the new people that have discovered this channel through our tour of Telo trucks. The video really popped off and I'm thankful that so many people were as excited about this idea for a new vehicle platform as I was. It honestly feels very validating to know so many others out there are passionate or at least very interested in the concept of trying to make better efficient space of our current vehicles, and that especially in the United States, our pickup trucks most of the time are just way too big to justify. And while Telo is still very much in the startup phase and a lot of the design is not finalized yet, and of course, like all startups, you have to look at it with a little bit of skepticism because there's a chance it won't make it to market. But the reason I think this company has kind of struck a chord with so many people out there is the Telo truck, unlike a lot of other vehicles we talk about on this channel, which tend to serve a specific piece of the market fairly well, the Telo feels like it could kind of be a one-size-fits-all for not just the United States, but also the world. You know, obviously, a lot of people love the Cybertruck because if you're going for a big old fat pickup truck that can tow a lot and can be bulletproof, you know, you have to make it big and rugged and be great off-road. And for a certain demographic of people, you know, they are gonna love that and they're gonna be excited to go out and buy it because it kind of narrows its focus on their niche. And, you know, my personal niche is a little bit different because most of the time in my vehicles, it's just me or one other person, which is why I'm super passionate and excited for startups like Aptera, getting to check it out in person in their factory line, because I'm an efficiency nut, so I want a vehicle that just gets amazing miles per kilowatt hour and can charge itself from the sun because I don't need those additional seats, and I rarely have that much of a need to move around payload or cargo. But even if I did, the Aptera still has a decent enough amount of trunk space in the back, so the Aptera I'm excited for because it caters to my niche. But the Telo, I feel like, kind of has something for everyone. That's kind of the genius behind it. For one, of course, it's a pickup truck with a 5-foot bed that can extend up to 8 foot with the second row folded down, and of course, you can lower that tailgate the same way Rivian does if you need to put in heavier stuff. 1,600 pounds of payload capacity while still rocking over 300 miles of range. They've said they're going to support the NACS standard, so they'll be able to access superchargers and probably get well over 200 kilowatts worth of charge speed within their 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. So you got the utility of a pickup truck with the range of a Tesla while simultaneously being very compact in a smaller form factor. As much as we all love talking about the Cybertruck and so many people are hyped for getting their Foundation Series orders in, we have to admit that Cybertruck is going to have a tricky time adapting to different countries. You know, it's kind of a truck from the ground up built for the United States market, and of course it's very sharp, it's very angular, and the designers are well aware that it's divisive and a lot of people aren't going to like that design, and we know that that design is going to have to be tweaked a lot if they want to bring it to other nations. Unlike the Telo truck, thanks to its smaller form factor, should be pretty easy to bring that to other countries in Asia, Australia, and Europe, all over the world. And unlike the Cybertruck, it's still able to achieve reasonably good efficiency. Typically, if you want a big fat US pickup truck like an F-150 Lightning or a Tesla Cybertruck, it's going to come at the cost of your efficiency because it's just a larger overall vehicle with bigger tires, a larger frontal surface area, and that's why most electric pickup trucks, you're looking in the ballpark of 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour, or sometimes less depending on which tires you're getting it with. But the Telo truck, thanks to its small form factor, its smaller frontal surface area, a more curvy aerodynamic focused design, and their very space efficient battery pack, they're expecting 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, which is honestly better than some all-electric SUVs on the market. So the fact that they're able to get a pickup truck that still has a 5-seater cab to get efficiency that high is honestly just incredible. And thanks to that smaller form factor, I think there's a decent chance it could sell better in other countries than it does within the US. So you've got the space efficiency, you've got the energy efficiency, you've got the utility, and you've still got the performance with 0 to 60 time in 4 seconds, and the option to convert it into more of a people mover because the third row can be installed into the bed, and then their little gear tunnel basically becomes the foot room for the third row. And they're saying that they can fit up to 7, potentially 8 people if they can fit a bench seat in the back row, turning this thing into a van, essentially. It's kind of like the old-fashioned Volkswagen bus, and so many people I've showed it off to are very curious about it. We just had family over last night, and I was like, have you heard of the Telo truck? And of course, like most people on Earth, they haven't yet, and once they saw the design footprint of what is possible when you re-engineer the chassis a little bit and tweak the wheelbase to accommodate for a better utilization of space, then the gears really start turning in people's heads. And I haven't seen any other company or startup or legacy automaker really attempt to make a vehicle that's capable of doing so much within one footprint, to the point that I don't really think Telo needs that many trims. Like, they've kind of figured out a form factor that works and is very scalable and can adapt to whatever your needs are. But unlike the Cybertruck and unlike the Aptera, which are kind of leaning towards whatever their niche is, I feel like the Telo truck doesn't necessarily have a specific niche. It kind of does a lot of every single sector you need it to do. It can be reasonably efficient. Sure, maybe not quite as efficient as a Model 3 sedan, which can get over 4 miles per kilowatt hour, but still, for a truck, 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour is great, especially considering that still has a 5-foot bed, which is close to that of a Rivian R1Ts, which is very easy to expand. It's still got the gear tunnel, and it can convert itself into a 7 or 8-seater passenger van. No wonder so many people are interested and excited about this particular vehicle, because it's just kind of the one-size-fits-all approach to the automotive market. And I really like that idea, because you want to make sure, if you're a startup company, that your product has an insane amount of demand to get investors interested, and of course to get a community built around it, and to have a company that's trying to find a vehicle that can please so many people at once also be willing to take so many requests and be willing to take so much feedback through their Discord server and just be like, what do you guys think? You know, we were recently just having a discussion in there about where the charge port should go on the Telo truck, because as of right now, I don't think it's really officially been decided, and I'm not really here to announce anything officially, but the discussion in the Discord I thought went fairly productively. It was like, yeah, you could put it in the same location as the Cybertruck, you know, the driver's side rear, so that the Telo truck can easily pull into any V3 supercharger. It doesn't have to be a V4, and you know for a fact the cable will reach appropriately. But then people talk about how Rivians have the charge port on the front, which is better, because if you're towing, you can just pull straight into the charger and plug in if it's a charger that doesn't have a pull-through station, and then you don't have to unhook your trailer if you're on a road trip. And the healthy compromise that we were having, that I haven't actually seen anyone in the automotive market do yet, so maybe Telo will do it first, but the concept was, well, how do you keep the charge port on the front while still making sure that the cable will always be long enough at every supercharger you charge at? Well, it's pretty simple. You just keep it on the front end of the truck, but instead of putting it on the driver's side, you put it on the passenger side, so that if you're not towing, you just pull in straight at any supercharger, and the charge port will fit because it's on the passenger side instead of the driver, like it would be on a Tesla. And that means if you are towing, you don't have to disconnect the trailer. You can just keep the trailer attached as you pull into the supercharging stall. People just kind of have to drive around you a little bit, but who knows if they're actually going to implement it. But just the fact that, you know, the co-founders who are designing this vehicle are open to it, asking for suggestions and letting people know, like, yeah, we might do things or incorporate certain design characteristics based on what you guys bring up and suggest. It's really exciting to potentially be a part of like a community designed vehicle, instead of having what most companies do, which is just a small team of people try to imagine what everybody wants, design it, manufacture it, release it, and hope there's a market for it. Instead, just ask the market, what do you guys really genuinely want? Let's get involved. Let's all get together and figure out what we're looking for. What concerns do you have with the design? What safety systems do you want in place? And how can we make this the best vehicle possible for the most amount of people? And I think the Telo truck fits the demographic of a lot more than just the United States market. But what do you guys think of the Telo truck? Are you still skeptical of a lot of the designs? What is your biggest issues with it? Let's try to be productive about it and see how we can make this vehicle better down in the comments below, and of course through Telo's Discord. And of course, thanks again to everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.